We got ourselves Blood Dagger over on the team one as a Subtlety rogue. We got a couple of them with LG Sugs joining as well. Freaks in the back as a troll. Unholy Death Knight. We got Magnus gonna be first up, getting absolutely blasted out with a Convoke, but looks like Animorph's Convoke did not go for the lucky bites back to back. Looks like they are speared down, even though they're trying to desperately escape. And Stormbolt to follow, does have a wall rolling in. Barks to follow. All the defenses used up really early on as Magnus took a bit of bleed damage. Try to see if he can find himself a way to reconnect back to Anna. Try to go for a bit of an intro, but it doesn't look like it connected. Haymaker out for Animorph. Does end up going for a bit of a knockback with his son onto Magnus, able to get away for just a second, catch a couple of heals here and there. Magnus and every offensive defensive ability kind of all at once. So for Animorph could be an opportunity where Feral can just bleed up the warrior. They can puncture right through the plated ironclad armor. Going to be a charge out of Magnus. Does he have any other ways to close that gap? Because he needs to get in there and start going in for Bloodthirst as well as impending victories to try to maintain his health as best as possible. Disarm much of the Feral Druid. I don't think it really does much, but it is going to be a Convoke onto Magnus. He's just secluded away. Big bites back to back. Isn't enough though. Does get himself a little bit of healing at the very end into, I think, a Battle Master Trinket on top of it, so it's just borrowed health. If Magnus can stay out of combat, actually, if he can not take damage, I think he might be able to get second one to help him recover. Stormbolt to follow. Needs healing right now. Does not really have much to work with. It's going to be Animorph trying to go for a couple of swipes. Once you get the bleeds in on a wounded warrior, there's only so much you can do. Violence is going to be up next. I like how there's like two play classes of Freaks and Violence that are both wearing the same mog, by the way. It is a good looking mog, honestly. Animorph with a bit of that Heart of the Wild, using the extra hybrid capabilities in order to get himself a little bit more tankiness and a little bit more survivability. While Violence looks like he's just able to launch right through that easily. Bash to follow Maim right after into a trinket. Once you go for that execute, isn't enough. There's a bleed on the Animorph. He just needs one more good hit. Looks like recovery is in play for Animorph, but not by much. He got himself a bit of HOTS going in. The HOTS and the heals are actually amplified too by the Heart of the Wild, but he's still struggling to recover. Finally got himself a little bit of line of sight behind the pillar. If Violence is a way to catch up, Convoke the Spirits defensively, he does end up kind of moonfiring somebody, or not moonfiring, wrathing somebody. Big Convoke, lots of bites, get himself the luck that he needs, but it looks like the bites are not enough to puncture through this plated armor. Animorph does get stunned up, hoping to maybe end it right now, but big turnaround by the warrior out of left field with a survival hunter joining in right after as Viriana trying to see if they can end the duel right there. Haprun with a death chakram. Violence just turning up the heat some more, got himself plenty of damage. Gonna be the hunter trying to see if he can get around him. Big damage, big bleed out of the warrior. Viriana having to go full defensive, but it's gonna be Freaks immediately gripping him in. Does have the pet stun to follow, gripping hand right after, trying to see if he can get himself a full army available. That is going to be not an army, but rather it is going to be a one abomination join in. Variana might be in a bit of trouble. It's going to be Apocalypse right after. I think playing more for a damage over time. Apocalypse build, so he's playing for the what's it called, necromantic bargain talent. So the Apocalypse, instead, it's like a big disease. If Varian ends up healing, the disease ends up prolonging itself longer and longer, but maybe Hunter turns it around either way. Oh my god, them kill shots are so brutal. Does get the kill shot at the end. He needs to find a way to dip into a camo as soon as possible before LFG Sucks can open up on him. Got in the camo, but the pet still has a dot on you. Unless you have a way to stop the rogue, I think it's probably over. LFG does get hit with a death shock him, and a little bit of a dot, as well as Flaming putting a dot on the guy. Wait, actually, LFG's taking so much dot damage right now. So much periodic damage. Gonna be a Cloak of Shadows to follow, gouge at a flame and try to see if we go for a bit of a reset. It does go for a vanish. That chakram was just melting this man. Does he have a Mortical? Not for a good bit, but does pick up the soul. He does rip it out of his body. And it's gonna be Shadowy Duel to follow. Does Flamin have a way to turn this around at all though? Have himself a board together with at least one portal available. No more Cloak of Shadows by the rogue though. So now you're kind of out and exposed. No trinket available. So next Mortal Coil together with a Fear, maybe like a Chaos Bolt combo, could do the trick of that portal not letting the rogue catch a safe free stealth whatsoever until it ticks out. At this point, Flaming needs to make a play. He does have a Dark Pact, so maybe if you survive the Dark Pact opener, you may be okay. Trigger back up for LFG. Does have a Shadow Meld as well, so it's going to be really difficult to lock him down. Big Eviscerates back-to-back. Mortal Coil. Fear, most likely going to be forcing a Trinket out of him. It is going to be a Trinket. Juked out a kick. Maybe going to be a Shadow Meld. Does go for the Shadow Meld as a portal is open, but he doesn't have any dots on the rogue, so he's going to be able to send himself forever. Wait a second. Maybe that should have been the Shadow. Maybe should have went for a Shadow Crest there. Maybe that might have been the play. Because if you got the rogue out, you had a portal, you got him out in the open, that would have been perfect for you. Blind by LFG. Dude, he's got to vanish back up again. Are you actually dancing in front of this guy? What is this? You're gonna vanish back up. What is this, dude? Cheap shot. I think it's just over. I think LFG just rotated through how many Cloaks of Shadows right now? He's got a third one coming up in just a second here. Okay, Kurochi gonna be up next as a Frosty Death and try to see if he can go from big damage on LFG into a gouge by the Rogue as he's trying to see if he can escape away from the Death Knight. Is gonna be able to go shadow stepping around him. Does not have an out for a good bit. Evasion is available. Chi Death is active in case he needs one. Cloak of Shadows in case he wants to use it. Gonna be a big Dragon Strike for Kurochi. Does go super low, trying to steal some health from the Rogue, but at this point, that full go by the Rogue with the Shadow Dance and everything, there's only so much Kurochi can do. Dropping out of the dome to try to see if he can pick up an eye. But right now for LFG, he does have Shadow Meld coming back up in a bit here. Trinket back up, Evasion as well, has a blind, so actually, he'll probably have a go and just end Kurochi right here. So then Chicago would be the last one left. Does give himself the opener, get a shot. No odds by the Death Knight. I think it's just over right now. Doesn't even need to commit a lot at this point. Gonna be Chicago immediately going in for a Flame Shock onto the Rogue. Do you really want to give him an auto deal with Chicago? I don't think you have the opportunity to even let him do that, especially as a Rogue, man. It's gonna be root around the corner. Shamans actually do have a pretty good goes versus Rogues, as we've seen yesterday over in the EU. Elemental Shamans and Enhancement Shamans apparently slam Rogues and dunk their heads into toilets, man. Apparently, Gouge off of that secret technique. LFG just trying to see if he can give himself a little bit of a breather, trying to find himself a reset if possible. Chicago not letting him do that at all. Ghost Raptors joined in order to get a little bit extra damage towards the Rogue as well, so keep him out of stealth. Does have advantage going back up, so could go for advantage. Lightning Lancer has a trigger for it. It's going to be a static totem, and Chicago can just back up a little bit, maintain their health as best as possible. They will be okay. Vanish out of the Rogue, but they still do have a dot. If you can deny the Rogue a release right now. Oh no, the Sam though. Oh my goodness. I don't know if you can catch him. Unless you could root him around the corner maybe. Earth Elemental is going to try to see if he can deny the Rogue any kind of resell. Chicago is kind of good and limited on what they can do. Next Skin Shot could be really deadly. Cloak of Shadows for the Rogue. Blind off of that Ascendance, which was a good move, but the Rogue is able to counter it. Though the Rogue is unable to get himself a proper resell. The Ghost Raptors are going to pressure him. Maybe if they do just enough damage, they may be able to proc out Chi Death. Dance to follow. Secret Technique. Chicago may be in a lot of trouble. Does get himself the Guardian activated. Chi Death for the Rogue. Oh, somehow Chicago makes it out alive on that one. I am actually so surprised by this. How are you alive? Blood Dagger kind of out in the open. Does get a hit for the Flame Shock. Chicago, I think Blood Dagger was trying to go for a bit of an auto duel with Chicago, but it's so late into dampening, there's no way that it's going to happen. And Chicago's just like, I got to get a Flame Shock. If I won't even have a chance of winning, I got to be proactive. But at this point, you go into a freshly healthy Rogue with a full flagellation. Not much can be done at that point. And a Rogue takes 3 this evening.